Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Grief, the emotional shitstorm you never signed up for. I'm your host, Margaret Dennis. I am a women's life empowerment and holistic grief coach, and I work with executive women who've been through grief and are wanting to learn more as to how to heal and how to balance out work and life. Today, I am very honored to have some very dear friends, Shell and Steph, on the podcast with me, where we are going to be talking all things mindset, manifestation, and natural living, and the grief that can come along with living your dreams and really going for it. I think is what I was looking for. The right words is really just leaning into what aligns best for you and what happens in your world when you're living for yourself. So welcome, Shell and Steph. We're so excited that you're here. I'm going to read your bio so people have an idea of who you are, because I know who you are, but they don't know who you are. So I'm going to read your bio and then we're going to jump right to it. All right. So Michelle and Steph are a fun-loving power couple, mindset mentors, and wellness coaches. Living their vision as digital nomads, they're traveling the world while guiding others to align their energy, elevate their mindset, and create a life that truly lights them up. They are passionate about natural health, manifestation, and living a dream lifestyle. And they're here to empower you to cultivate freedom, fulfillment, and feel good energy from the inside out. Welcome, Shell and Steph.
Yay.
All right. So why don't you get us started? I've got a few questions that I've written down just to keep my mind focused. So why don't we start with that one and then see where our conversation goes? Because I love having just free flowing conversations. All right. So let's start with the first one and then we'll go from there. So you often talk about how everything on the outside is a reflection of the inside. Can you explain what that means and how rewiring your mindset can completely transform your reality? I see
Yes.
Steph's like, go for it, Shall.
Yes, it's a quote that I made up a few years ago, and it just sums everything within us. It's like the 20% on the outside, 80% on the inside. So I really do truly believe that we have a mirror,
Mm-hmm.
and I love reverse engineering things. So if I don't like the things around me, the outlook on life, that gets to change starting from me.
Mm-hmm.
And learning to do that with no guilt, blame, or shame, not living in the past or dwelling or having regrets, honoring myself and my boundaries and empowering myself to then move forward towards my goals. And that really is key because we're either motivated towards our goals or away from our goals.
Mm-hmm.
And even that simple mindset shift can just rewire your brain, your whole day. And so, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Everything on the outside is a direct reflection of the inside.
Mm-hmm. So what is one of the biggest mindset shifts that you've had to do?
Oh,
I know that wasn't
give
on our list. I'm just going to throw that in.
no, I love it. No, it's giving me shivers.
How long have we
So,
got?
no, yeah, you'd be surprised. I can be quite specific on these calls. So it's like a short story long. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So a huge one for me, especially when we're speaking of emotions, and grief is really connected, especially speaking for myself of deep emotions.
Mm-hmm.
The shift that has really moved me is believing that the emotions that are
Mm-hmm.
coming up to be released.
Okay.
And that weight, that those thoughts, those feelings, the stories, they're just evaporated, and I can visualize it through my shoulders, like I've got goosies just now, like not ignoring my emotions, not having a lack of understanding, not anything. It's just, yeah, that perspective and mindset of what's coming up for me is coming up to be released.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Elsa says, let it go.
Well, and it's so true what you say. And I say this to my clients all the time. When you have an emotion, feel it, let it out. It doesn't matter what it is. There is no right or wrong emotion. They're your emotions. And I love that you've created that mindset for yourself where it's like, well, if they're coming up, they need to be released. Because I think so sometimes emotions can be really scary, especially if they're really like sad or painful. And so we ignore them, we push them down, we hope they go away. So what has been your experience when you've released these emotions? How has that impacted you?
It's been massive. I mean, especially having Steph to coach me and first of all communicate that across of
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm feeling these feelings and I'm going to put this into practice. And then, Steph's like, how can I be your best teammate? How can I support you? So I've been more vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
I've created way more there that I actually wanted to. I've been intentional rather than getting angry or annoyed or absolutely hijacked by my 10 saboteurs. Sage powers here
Mm-hmm.
has come in and it's really kept me focused and in alignment and to the goal. So yeah, productivity is increased, my self-compassion, my self-love, and in turn, that's made my glass be full so that I can actually overflow with joy and gratitude, whatever it is, ways I want to be, to then ripple that effect. So then relationships grow and happiness increases. Like it's just that beautiful ripple and compound effect.
Mm-hmm. And when you've done that too, like I know you do a lot of work and you do some amazing coaching. How have you found that doing that release work and being vulnerable and allowing yourself to, I guess I'm going to use the word heal because when you
Yeah.
release emotions, it allows you to heal. How has that supported you in showing up as a leader?
Great question. I would actually love for you to answer this from your perspective because I think you'll see it from a completely different light.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like there's been even a physical change in
Mm,
how you address things because before, if something was to come up, you could see it across your face first. Like no words needed to be spoken. I was like, that face, mentally you're putting your armor on, you're layering up, you're getting the bricks out and building that wall. And it could be something really small and simple. And I say simple in a non-patronizing way because everyone deals with everything differently.
mm.
So it could have been something relatively small, and it's just done that age-old snowball effect. You've all laughed at if you're talking about Elsa. And it's become this huge boulder coming flying towards your armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like with all the work that you're doing and the fact that I am so grateful for your vulnerability because in turn, like it's both of us, like both and.
Yeah.
And there's just been like even the physical shift change and you're addressing it rather than I'm full of metaphors rather than just picking up the rug and adding it to the massive pile under the rug and tripping over it every day going I need to get to that. Nothing's a need, it's a want and a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to address things,
Mm-hmm.
then it's sitting there. Lift the rug out, pick out the first thing, right? We're going to sit here, going to sit at the table with this thing and work through it because it's not getting over something, it's working through something. And it's not always quick and easy. Like I say, it takes time and it's you get out of a situation what you put into it. So then, you know, for myself, having those people around me with the support and the patience and the compassion and knowing like to give distance or to just put an arm round or whatever, then that in itself can be a release. So,
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Well
that
said.
was so incredibly beautifully said. I love how you said it's a want and a choice, and that you are intentionally choosing to face the emotion and that you're moving through it. Like we couldn't be in more alignment if we tried. Like it is incredible because that's what I teach as well. And I love that you're living that philosophy too. And it does deepen the relationship, right? Vulnerability is the core of relationships. And if you cannot be
Yeah.
vulnerable with each other, it makes it you end up building those walls, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you shared all that stuff, and it takes a lot of courage to make those choices every day to face the hard stuff. But like you, like, I just want to reflect back, like I've seen a shift in Shell over the last year as well. Just the way you show up, like your face is glowing, you are smiling, you feel more like it's a sense of calm that comes over you when you're showing up. And it's been an interesting transition to watch, because just as we step more into our power and we don't run from the things that hurt us and the things that upset us, and we face them and we move through them, such incredible inner growth works or happens, right? And it helps us really step into who we're becoming. I had a line in the speech I did this past Saturday that said that like grief doesn't break you, it cracks you open, and it strips away the person that you thought you had to be, and reveals the person that you're actually becoming. And so that's such an incredible way of, what you guys were saying about wanting and choosing and moving through. And then I see where you've become in the process too, because I know the things that you've been working through, and the challenges that you've had creating this life that you are absolutely loving. And every time we talk, I'm like, oh, tell me more. Like, what's your next going? And it's beautiful to see, because I think anytime we step outside of our comfort zone and anytime that we follow our passion, there is always stuff that's going to come up and challenge us. And it's how we deal with it, right? It's how we deal with it. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Must say, I love that you said a boulder, because you know that's what a lot of us can feel of that weight. And so there's a couple of things of a very simple sentence. When I am vulnerable, I create. And I went through, and this is what I always advise friends, family, clients, of the ways of being that are going to support you. You simply write that sentence. When I love myself, I create. When I trust myself, I create. Because what I really have learned, and for you as well, it's like the self-trust and the independence, like that's ramped up. And also for hyperachievers and people pleasers, like that perfectionist side and the possible, I'm not capable or I'm not good enough. Taking the boulder and smashing it into pebbles and really practicing, no matter what, moving a pebble a day minimum. Because, and I'm sure this is relatable, I used to be all or nothing. Go big or go home. Like nothing's worth me doing if I'm not doing it 100%.
Yeah, you stopped saying 110%. Because I was like, it really frustrates me because there's 100 and 100%.
Analytical and logical.
Yes. I say 110% all the time too, Steph. Sorry.
You're allowed. That's fine. I don't live in a confined space with you.
Yeah, it's just all these things of getting specific. And so like goal setting, I would avoid and resist even setting any goal, because I'm oh, it's too much.
Or
or
the flip side,
you
would spend 5 hours writing 326 pages of tick lists and none would get done.
It was obviously color coordinated and everything, so it's like just I mean, we're
post-it notes everywhere.
I'm not allowed post-it notes anymore, so there's so many
legit there's a ban.
Lessons and learnings, because it's like I've moved from, and both of us, of like these ideas to actually doing them. And then before that comes the being. So like you, Margaret, said about being courageous. That is one thing that really moved our bahookies. I know you love that, bahookie. So it's like, well, before confident, you get to be courageous. If in doubt, be bold. So it only takes 20 seconds of bold, courageous action. And then it comes back to the why not? Why not?
What you're going to lose.
You know, when we think of the three top fears, failure, rejection, judgment,
Mm-hmm.
and then the question that we can coach ourselves on, is it true?
Mm-hmm.
It all comes down to, can I handle it?
Mm-hmm.
So I really work on that every day. So it's just so interesting reflecting and seeing those lessons and learnings, even in the smallest thing. So now, instead of reading a chapter a day, right, I'm going to read 2 pages a day.
Yeah.
Strip it back.
Aim small, miss small.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I would rather, I've always been, it's funny because everything, like, especially with us two being on the road and, like I say, small confined spaces, and we become so used to just each other's company that it, for me, it motivates us to become better versions of ourselves because you can see the effect that it has on someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like if I'm having a negative, I just want to make a den, sit in the corner, leave me alone kind of day, then it's all about like the vibes that each other's bringing. So then the other person essentially being strong enough to go, right, I can carry for the two of us. I'm sitting at an 8 out of 10. I'm going to keep vibing at this, and that's going to bring up your vibrations. So then it's the flexing and the molding as well.
Yeah.
Of just learning how each other fits in to day as well.
Yeah, like operating styles. Like, I think we've spoken about this before, Margaret, but people get so shocked when I say, yeah, no, Steph and I are total opposites, like complete opposites. Apparently, opposites attract. Well, here we are. Because before we got married, we made a commitment to working on all the areas in our life as an integration. And it was, yeah, learning how one another operates. I'm really relationship orientated, Steph's task orientated, and analytical, logical, decisive. I'm the complete opposite. So you can imagine, like, it's like two magnets at times. So that's where like the self-compassion and the emotions come in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for me in particular, when my emotions are not mastered or even looked at, I can go kind of off
Mm-hmm.
off into a days. I will say though, you said about a day, you know, like, oh, if I'm having one of those days, we've really made it important. And I know this is the work you do so well, of making it a moment rather
Yeah.
than prolonging it, you know, about like fast recovery
Mm-hmm.
and shifting faster. So
Yeah, like we'll, if you know the age-old saying of, oh, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Well, we don't say that because we get out the foot of the bed
Mm-hmm.
and we stop and pause and say, because that's the biggest thing for us is stop, pause, choose.
Yeah.
So, right, this is how I'm currently feeling. Address that emotion, right? I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna give myself a second. You know, I'm gonna vocalize that to you. Of if you're bustling about asking me 10 questions, I'm gonna say, I'm just having a little minute. I'll be back with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, even voicing just the other day, we woke up and I said, right, what are you grateful for today?
Mm-hmm.
Because gratitude is incredible and it's something again that feels small and simple.
Mm-hmm. You
It can
just
feel
gave me
small and
chills.
simple, and then it's just whether you stop and you know we turned around and said, well, I'm grateful for my mobility that we can get get out and walk 18 kilometers 3 days in a row and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love how you that when you said, you know, what are you grateful for day? I just got I got little goosebumps everywhere. That was beautiful because I find that we all have the good days and the bad days. And we all like whether there is grief involved in those or not, it's just day-to-day challenges. Being able to go back to gratitude, it it gives you, like you were saying, that mind shift, right? And the mindset shift where you're like, okay, I could and like you said, Steph, acknowledge, what was it? It was like acknowledge, feel, choose, or what you just said something really.
Stop, pause, choose.
Stop, pause, choose. I love that because I think sometimes we feel like we are controlled by our emotions, but we get to choose how we feel in any given moment. And we get to choose how we feel about the things around us, right? And
Yep.
we can choose to feel like everything's against us and I'm such a victim, or we can choose to see things differently and say, I'm really not happy with the way things are going. What can I do to change that? And it happens in grief, maybe not right at the beginning because we're so overwhelmed, but as we're moving through grief, it is a choice. Stop, pause, choose. How do I want to feel today? And maybe I do need to take 10 or 15 minutes or half a day to move through whatever it is I'm feeling so that I can then choose an emotion that actually I can focus on, that isn't going to be hijacked, as using your words earlier, Michelle, that hijacked with the grief, with the heavier emotions that could come up.
Yeah, definitely.
Pause, choose. Yeah. And I
Stop,
love
pause,
how you
choose.
guys have created that connection and that such deep open communication to create such a bond. Because if it is, it is just the two of you traveling around the world in your van, enjoying where you're going. And I can just imagine that if you didn't have that communication, you didn't have that openness, how it probably wouldn't be working very well.
No, we're not seeking a marriage counselor just yet,
No,
so
no. That's a good thing. But it's also something that you guys work towards. It wasn't something that was like right away from the beginning, we're like perfect with everything. It takes work, right? It takes work in doing that.
yeah,
So
for sure.
commend both of you for committing to that. And I loved, Michelle, how you said that when you decided to get married, you also decided to make sure that you would focus on having all areas of your life be better and be the best that you can be. Because what an amazing goal to have for each other and as well as yourself to bring to this relationship. That's beautiful. Beautiful. So I do have some more questions, and then I want to circle back a little bit more around your experience of the nomadic life, because I think there's a lot of something we can relate to with the grief component, but I want to move away a little and really showcase what you guys do, because I think it's really important that people listening understand just such incredible work that you guys do. So for those who are feeling stuck or unsure of what they really truly desire, what's your favorite way to help them gain clarity and reconnect with their vision?
Love that. May I take it?
Take the floor.
Thank you. So again, especially as of late, we've been stripping everything back super, super simple, because us humans love to complicate everything. And it really is about doing more of what you love and trusting yourself that you know what you want. So asking yourself, what do I want? Not anybody else, purely you. No shoulds, nothing. Stop shoulding all over yourself. And you've come from that place where it's like the sky is the limit. You totally forget about the how. And that's why we love vision boards, and we're visionaries, forward thinkers, huge thinkers. And you actually allow yourself to dream. So many people don't even answer that question, what do I want? I don't know. You do know. And then going deeper, okay, great. Once you've released, once you've actually declared it. So I highly recommend writing it down, saying it out loud, and then going, okay, great. What else? What else? Now, I have done this with a client for about half an hour once, and I do this. Even you can put a 2-minute timer on and just write. Get so excited, feel it and embody it, embrace it, like from the longest hair on your head to the tips of your toes, like you really feel it through your body, and living as if it's already done. So those affirmations, the act as if. And with that, I always make people laugh. I mean, like dream lifestyle. So just did a workshop on this, and people like, what do you mean by dream lifestyle? I'm like, well, it is your lifestyle. It is an integration. So all areas count, not just work and life, because there's a huge myth that this concept of work and life, it's an integration. Yeah, exactly, right? So you do it as a whole. And then with that, I go even deeper. So it's like when we do this together, it's like, I would love organic food. I would love a really great coffee in the morning. I would like a chef to batch cook our meals. Like, you go big. And so you just bring it back to, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
There's a distinction to go with that, of course, because we've both been focusing on two distinctions: messy versus right, which you know that one very well from leadership,
Yeah.
and also done is better than perfect, because we can procrastinate so easy and then not actually get anything done.
Mm-hmm.
So just do it. If it takes 2 minutes, do it right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one that I'll leave you with is, anything is possible 100% of the time.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Coming from that place. And then with this, we've been manifesting, even over the last 2 weeks, huge abundance that we didn't even expect. We let go of the how, we didn't know what was coming, and we've manifested dream clients, like just insane things at the moment, because we're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
We're connecting to our inner child. We're being playful and joyful, and that, like that vibration, law of attraction, just like the law of gravity, it is true. We've been practicing even more, just ramped it right up. So that's my 2 pence.
Plus some, plus a fiver. Keep the change.
Oh, no, that's beautiful. And I think that gives people a bit of an understanding of what you do, right? Really working in that mindset manifestation, nomadic living, and really helping people to dream and live those dream lifestyles. And it can be really scary to enter that when you've been through grief, right? When you've been
Yes.
really challenging times, things that have been really hard and sad and leaving you reeling. Getting into that place where you actually allow yourself to dream and aren't scared of it, and aren't feeling like it's not something that I deserve, or if, or that idea that it doesn't matter what I dream, something bad's going to happen, right? Because we carry a lot of that experience forward with us. So interesting, the whole process of getting there. So combining what you were talking about before, Shell, around you have to just allow the emotions to come up and release them, and then moving into the, okay, now when you've created this space where things are a little bit lighter and you're tapping into gratitude like Steph had suggested, and then moving into, okay, what do I want for my life now? Because there's so much that happens, right? If you lose a child or a spouse or a parent or a sibling, who you are changes. Because we are so defined by our roles and what we are labeled as. Like, I'm a wife and a mother and a pet owner and a business owner and all of these definitions. And when one of those big ones leave, like, or we lose a career, right? Like we get downsized or we get fired or our business fails, or our pet dies, or all of these things that come around shifts who we are inside, which I would hazard a guess means that we have to then go back inside and reset that mindset and reset that shift, which is what you're amazing at doing. I know I've had sessions with you and you're just like, she's amazing. And just getting into that framework of giving yourself permission to dream again. And really, without worrying about the how, without worrying about all the things that could go wrong. Just what do you want? And I love doing that exercise too. I do that with clients when we're doing vision boarding, right? It's like, what do you want? What do you want? You do those 7 layers deep. And I remember one woman, I was doing it with a group of entrepreneurs. It was the power word. We were doing the power word. So just a little mini workshop. And I went through the, what do you want? And her first one was, I want a successful business. Great. Wonderful. And we went deeper and deeper. And at the very end, she's like, I want a baby. So huge shift. But then when she went in and really truly allowed herself to listen, she was in tears. She's like, I didn't realize how much I wanted this. And it was beautiful. But if we don't give ourselves permission to ask, and to listen. Because sometimes we have things come up inside of us that we're like, I can't have that. Who am I to dream that big?
Mm-hmm.
And that comes back to that idea of worthiness and fear and judgment and expectation and all of those things. I love that. Love, love, love.
Yeah.
Okay, I have more questions for you guys, and I'm sure we're just going to keep checking. So you guys blend mindset and manifestation with natural living. How do essential oils and daily rituals support that inner transformation? So tell people a little bit about where that came from and then how you incorporate, because nobody on here really knows what else you do besides coaching and traveling and all the amazing things that you do.
Yeah, again, get the list ready. No, I like the fact that you said blend, because we've got our essential oils business and it's called Blends and Beyond.
Oh,
So
that okay.
it came about because pretty much the bare bones of it was we were tired of being tired.
Mm-hmm.
And it was back when, like Shell's previously said, of that mindset of work-life balance. So we were still at that stage rather than work-life integration. So
Mm-hmm.
we introduced essential oils and supplements into our everyday. And it's not necessarily that we've broken habits, we have just made a shift and a change. So I don't know about you, but I enjoy my coffee in the morning, and then normally around lunchtime I hit that I want chocolate, a biscuit, and a coffee, and my day is not going to be complete until I get this sugar and caffeine
Yeah.
hit.
Oh, 100%.
So, so we were just kind of living that rinse and repeat and realizing that it just wasn't benefiting us on a health level, and you were getting that hit of sugar and caffeine, and then you were just kind of back at square one. So instead we were like, oh well, peppermint essential oil, for example, and drinking, still having our coffees in the morning. I'm not depriving myself of that.
Hey, it's good for you.
Mhm.
One coffee is good for you.
One.
I was like, 3.
What? Sorry, what? So yeah, we were in the afternoons, we're having our peppermint essential oils. In the mornings, we're having, our little concoction of On Guard to protect our immune system, give us that boost, because again, with the amount that we were working, the people we were around, we were feeling, our immune system taking a bit of a dunt. And we were like, okay, how can we support ourselves? And cast your mind back to the beginning of this conversation. You said about things being 20% on the outside and 80% on the inside.
Yes.
So you've got a cut in your hand, you put a plaster on it, that's your outside covered. You don't necessarily stop and think about how things affect you from the inside.
Yeah.
So that's where the essential oils, we're super fortunate with ours that you can use them 3 ways. So you can have them topically, aromatically, and internally. So we've made lots of shifts and changes away from boxes of tablets and pharmaceutical things to now just a travel bag filled with essential oils that has come to New Zealand with us, and Australia,
Yes,
and through Hong Kong twice, and all around Europe,
Yeah.
and to Canada at some point.
Yes.
And
yes.
That's opened doors to befriending people, like just having natural conversations about natural living. Making a coffee out the boot of the car in New Zealand, and a guy standing next to us with a really sore back because there'd been a Red Bull mountain biking competition, and Shell just opening the conversation with, there's an oil for that. Do you want to try this? And he's walking away with a little sample next day, knocking on the van. Thank you so much. I actually slept and I feel like I can move. And, just all those different routes of wellness.
Live, share, build.
Yeah.
That's what
definitely
the
mantra for the oils, isn't it?
So it's all an experience, isn't it? When you live it and then share it, that's when you can then build a business, because at first we were just loving them, and then naturally sharing them, like with my nana and things. So just going back as well, just to interject, when we think really kind of first, when we were introduced to doTERRA and this idea of wellness advocates, of course, it all started with us of how we wanted to change our lives. And at that time, I was really struggling with a
lot of things.
Fatigue, chronic pain, sleep issues, so many things. And I come from a medication background as well. So I really learned about pain and then how different medications can affect your gut, which is your third brain. And so I was completely out of alignment and I was at a loss. I kind of hit rock bottom and thought, there must be a way and I will do this. That willingness to feel better from the inside out and get the results that we want. And then you were just amazed. I mean, there's always skeptics in logical, analytical, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to try this. And so it really was just amazing of experiencing it, just like coaching and just like anything, like creating these experiences that you want to share. And when people are open, then that's the key, if you want to shift that mindset and the perspective.
Like even before your coaching calls and our calls, some frankincense for grounding to inhale that.
And tea tree.
And well, I've just, this is the other beauty, this is what I love about the essential oils. It's having that time to stop and pause for yourself as well. So I've just had a lovely shampoo head massage courtesy of Shell with the essential oils, so tea tree, rosemary and lavender. And I love it because self-care is something that we tend to put off because you think, oh, I should be doing this for our business, or I should be planning the next section of the trip, and it's no shoulds. You either are doing it and you're all in, or take a pause. What's going to benefit you? So benefiting me in that moment was, I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to do a lovely head massage with my essential oils, reground, and feel fab.
And do you know, just speaking about this, because we don't always get asked these questions, so thank you. Like you said about me glowing, there was actually a time, especially before getting married, that I felt really quite insecure, especially in my looks, because I knew there was something going on with my skin, and I do have a syndrome that I'm allergic to a lot of things. This seemed different. Anyway, I have 3 different skin conditions on my face.
Non-contagious.
No. And so like clear skin now because of the oils. And before the wedding, I was like, I don't think makeup will cover like my pigmentation, like melasma, like the dryness, and my eyes would just feel like they were on fire. And so yeah, I was really scared and upset, like, is this ever going to heal? Like, people are looking at me funny. Anywho,
They weren't.
they were. Lavender tea tree facial wash, right? Lavish wash. Away from your eyes. Oh my gosh, keep it away from your eyes. Like, even just something little like that, as well as internal, that took me away from any medication. And also acid. I was prescribed a certain acid for my face, and I was like,
wow.
We were like, maybe we should try our oils first.
So
let's get curious, do some research, give it a go. It's all natural. What's the worst that could happen?
And I would say overall, bringing it back to emotions and grief, mood management. You
were
for me in particular, regulating my nervous system, regulating my emotions and mastering that, the oils have really grounded me. And I've learned all about like reflexology and where to put them on your feet, and yeah, just taking that time to breathe them in. Chakras, I know we love our chakras, so like your crown chakra and like meridian points, all of that is phenomenal. So in workshops, retreats, cooking, baking,
cooking,
you name it, there's an oil for that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I love that we're talking about oils, because that's something I do in my practice as well, right? I make the custom blends for my clients based on what emotional support that they need. And we just did our women's sacred circle, and over the last 8 months, 9 months, we did the 7 chakras, but we also included the earth star and the soul star, and then we did a full integration. So everyone has the chakra essential oil pack that they can use. And I find it very interesting that when I'm working with clients, and you probably find this too, is that when you get into the emotion and you go into the body and you say, okay, where is that emotion showing up? Where are you feeling it? Especially when it comes to grief. I'm going to circle back to grief because that's, the podcast. But when you bring it back into grief, oftentimes it's, I feel it in my heart, and I feel it in my throat. So because so often we suppress, we don't say what we think, we don't say what we feel, we don't allow that release of emotion. And so having the essential oils, I will do blends for people that will focus on healing the heart and opening up that space. Like eucalyptus and peppermint for your throat is so incredible. And so being able to support clients in a natural way like that too, I love it. And then they're like, oh, I'll take this and this. And I diffuse it for focus. I diffuse it for grounding. I diffuse it for sleep. And it is a really beautiful way of doing it. And I think one thing that, if anyone listening is like, oh, I'm so allergic to scents and scents really get to me, the essential oils are not scents. They are oils. So they are natural. So they're not pharmaceutical, and it's the pharmaceutical creations that people find that they're allergic to. I don't know if you found it, but you wear essential oils and people are like, oh, you smell really good. Normally I'm really sensitive to smells, but I'm not being bothered by it. That's because
I mean, again, thinking of small confined spaces such as the vans, like when we went to New Zealand, because of living, sleeping, cooking, being in the van, New Zealand and now as well, we're like, right, we are stripping as many toxins out of what we're doing as possible, because why would you want to let off a aerosol in your bedroom, then fall asleep under it as it falls? So we replace things as best as we could, and again got curious, did our research, right, what blends work well together for what we want to achieve. So a really good cleaning spray, for example, so we got our glass bottle and we made up a cleaning spray with our On Guard lemon, just the citrics to keep everything clean. And it meant that the food that you're now putting down, you're not ingesting those toxins, as well as we're not sleeping in those toxins. So it's just stripping everything back, and again, just keeping it simple, isn't it? For your best foot forward for what you want to achieve. We want wellness in our life, in our business and lifestyle, and we want that to get spread to as many people as we can, to make that impact for a healthier living.
And they are the highest quality and the purest as well, like you said, and that makes a difference. With my syndrome, oral allergy syndrome, I was really scared at first, especially about ingesting, drinking them, because for example, lemon, I wouldn't, even if someone put like a lemon in my drink and then brought it to the table, I wouldn't usually have been able to drink that. I would have a reaction. And so it took me a while to dilute a lot and build it up. And now I'm just so happy that I had the courage to do that. And of course I was guided as well by our upline and our wellness advocate. But that's just so great, like that are possibilities if you're willing. And that's just an example.
That's what made me think when you were saying about people potentially saying that they've had reactions to scents and things. Again, trying to cut toxins out, I've made up a little body spray, and it is just the oils mixed with water. And it makes such a difference. Plus it's unique because most of the time it's like specific blends that we've got
Mm-hmm.
Free with our order for the month and things
Mm.
like that. And people are like, oh, what's that spray? Where did you get that? And again, that just naturally starts conversations as well.
Yeah.
Like with the house sitting that we do, the oils are really good for pets as well, which
Mm-hmm.
again, speaking for our oil specifically, don't want to speak just generically of all oils. Our ones are pet friendly. So then we've created like pet guides, if your dog's anxious when you leave the house,
Mm.
you can diffuse this. Or horses, for example, are pretty expensive to keep. Well, here's,
Yeah.
try these blends.
Mm-hmm.
If you're open and willing, try this first before you phone the lovely expensive vet to come and tell you that,
Mm.
your horse is all right and they've got a pretend limp.
Yeah. Come on. Well, not just perfume, but just to end on that, the bug spray.
Oh yeah.
Mosquitoes love me. So
Oh,
natural
yes.
bug spray, for example.
Yeah.
So not having those chemicals on our skin, but like the bug spray, oh my gosh, you made it for me like every other day. I was like,
Yeah. They
Yeah.
don't bother me. We could be this distance apart and Shell's covered
oh,
in them, and I'm just like, you all right?
yeah.
Yeah, we did
Honestly.
a mozzie spray this summer as well, because the cottage we can get lots of mosquitoes and black flies.
Yeah.
And I had a roller bottle, and my daughter and I were just like rolling it on every
Yeah.
day. And we were the ones who were not getting attacked. And I say to people, would you like some? And they're like, no. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Force it on you, but it really does work. It really does work.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the time, and I know we have tons of questions. We could probably talk for hours, but I wanted to loop it back and just bring us back into your experience doing the lifestyle that you have, right? You've embarked on a natural living through the oils and just going more organic and really living in a place that's really healthy. You've also pursued careers that maybe not are as popular around where you've come from and who your circles are. And you've decided to pack up, live in a van, travel all over, house sit, pet sit, and live your nomadic lifestyle in a way that is so in aligned with your sense of adventure and living life and having fun and exploring and just getting the most out of life in a way that really resonates for the both of you.
Mm.
That it takes a lot of courage, as we've talked about courage before, to step into that level of being and to take those risks, right? It's a lot of people who'd be like, I can't pack up everything and sell everything and just put it in a van and go. Yep. I know but I want you to talk a little bit through, like, there's a lot of excitement, but there's also a lot of grief that can come along with that too. So can you tell people, like, if there's someone going, oh my God, I want to live their lifestyle, what sort of things could they expect on sort of the challenging side, the emotional side of, there's, with any change, there can be grief. So tell us a little bit about what that looked like for you guys, or what it still looks like.
Mm.
I would say that I was probably excuse me, the more emotionally affected vocally from the get-go. Again, Shell up at that point was good with your armor. So, that sat with you for a bit longer. And you've experienced traveling before and losses.
Yeah.
Whereas I've had quite a sheltered upbringing of my work of 12 plus years was on my doorstep. I had my family 5 minutes down the road from me. So even moving to Harrogate, which is only like 210 miles difference, there's still things like to miss out on. So then going from that to quite literally the other side of the world, and you don't realize that you are the other side of the world until you're there. It isn't just, oh, we'll hop on a flight and, blah, blah, blah. There's the, I think I prepared myself for the worst and hoped for the best. I was prepared for potential losses. Doesn't mean that I was ready for them should they arise. And yeah,
What kind of losses were you preparing for? I'm curious.
like older family, potentially something happening, that route of not being able to be there quick and given the support that's kind of that you want to give to friends, family, things like that. So I mean, from the get-go, for me, the grief was giving up my job.
Mm-hmm.
I I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I loved my job, and why would I want to leave it? And then working through that, going, okay, well, I can focus on this now. And then, leaving everything that you know, because I like routine and structure and stability.
Yeah,
'Cause,
safety as well.
yeah, like, yeah, the safety of the structure and the
Yeah.
stability and, relatively knowing what the day-to-day looks like. So I suppose there was losing that and for a while being sad at losing what I thought I needed,
Mm-hmm.
whereas it's whatever you want it to be. So, at times we were on the road, the last stint we were on the road for 16 days straight. I was like, I need and want a house right now. And again, just looking at the gratitude of things, that made me super excited for when we do
Mm-hmm.
pick somewhere to live in a house. And oh, I would love it to look like this and da da da. So I don't know. It was more like the positive from potential negative,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the
and
flipping it.
and the communication, like
Yeah.
preparing ourselves and speaking through scenarios of potential loss and or homesickness of being away. I think that was probably key, really.
The
Mm-hmm.
homesick.
Just like the general like communication
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
of kind of like the what if,
Yeah.
especially for
Yeah.
you liking, kind of A to Z plans.
3 times over.
Whereas I'm more, we'll go with the flow, we'll deal with it, cope, however, manage whatever comes to us and adapt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, well, I love what you brought up too, Steph, because that was big choices to make too, right? When you're choosing to have that loss. So you're choosing to leave the job. You're choosing to uproot. You're choosing to leave the security and safety of a routine for something unexpected. And
Yeah.
so that's really scary. And you're facing your fears and you're doing it anyway, right?
Yeah.
You're deciding like I'm going to do this, but I'm also going to acknowledge that I'm still feeling sad about
Yeah.
leaving something that I really loved, even though I know on the other side it's probably going to be amazing and fun and exciting, but allowing yourself to still feel that there was a loss there as well. And
Yeah.
and I know you did experience a loss, didn't you, while you were away and down in New Zealand? Did you not have someone pass? I seem to think that you did, but I can't remember.
You're making us stop and think now.
Yeah, I mean the kind of 2 years in general have kind of merged together.
Yeah.
I feel because we've had sessions as well,
Yeah.
my brain's going to other
Other things,
losses that,
other
Like
losses. Yeah.
yeah,
previous
like
losses.
Well,
I mean,
you guys talked about being the distance, right? And not being able to
yeah.
be there. So
yeah,
that's a loss too, right? And an adjustment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that emotional side of being distant and losing that routine and losing that security. What have you found through career wise? Has there been a loss of friendships, a loss of people that you were used to be in your circle and now aren't in your circle as much? Has there been a change in that dynamic as you pursued the things that brought you joy through career and life, actually?
Yeah, I would say so. And the way that we tend to put it down to is they're not our people.
Mm-hmm.
So if there are the people that there's here and now friends, like work colleagues, for example, that you spend 6 days a week, 60 hours a week with, and I can't imagine not seeing you and a week away from somewhere and or a year away from somewhere and you don't hear from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I say that they're the kind of in the moment friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the people that as time shifts and changes, and as you have your own self growth, which I know I realised in massive doses when we came back to the UK and I did enter back into my old place of work temporarily. they expected 2023 Steph to walk through the door.
Mm.
2025 Steph was non-reactive, was sage, was glass half full, positive, like all the things that I wasn't all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to be most of the time. And again, when you're in it, you don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
So, they weren't prepared for that. And in turn, I've kind of changed away from those people that I wanted that relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
And I've taken a step back and gone, actually, I've been all right without you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want you to make me 2023 Steph again.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what they were trying.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I was like,
Yeah.
no, I'm happy. I'm far happier and lighter and more comfortable with this version of me. And it was actually really amazing to come home. I was so excited to come home and tell you. I was like, I've changed.
Like, yeah.
And she was like, sorry, what? I was like, see, because we're so close all the time, I don't think we always realise what's right in front of you, the shifts and changes that can be made until you get put back in a situation that you used to be in and you go, oh, I didn't react, I didn't jump in, I didn't try and fix everything, I didn't take it all upon myself. I
Mm-hmm.
said, let them,
Mm-hmm.
let me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
the leadership. I mean, you've always had amazing leadership, but the growth and the pause for sure. And that ego, you don't always have to be right.
Right.
And that really has saved a lot of marriages when I've said that within coaching. Of what do you want to create?
Mm-hmm.
Comes back to what do you want? Well, for us, it's like the alignment, the energy, the attitude, and protecting your circle. And it is smaller. So at first, I think the losses were
sad.
They were hard. There was guilt. There was also a lot of worry from me in particular, that worry. And
Worry about what?
like you said about fixing, well, what if I'm not there to support them?
Oh, okay.
I'm worrying that I've now removed myself and I was their safe space. I was their support, the one that would reground them, glue, the rock,
Yeah.
you know?
You were the boulder.
Yeah, I was the boulder. That's a nice boulder. So yeah, there's so many lessons and learnings, and we do reflect on that a lot. And yes, you were
I was so excited.
so funny when you came home. Oh, I've changed, and it's like, yeah, you may think in 6 months not a lot has changed, whereas actually everything has changed.
Yeah, just interjecting yourself back into your old life, even just briefly, and going, wow, this is what life used to be like. I'm not actually as happy as what I am now, like in our new current life. Like that old life was a need and a must, rather than as much as I wanted to do the things.
Yeah,
it also was on someone else's kind of schedule. And then even of that, like I missed events working on someone else's schedule. I missed big family dues. I missed funerals. I missed, all sorts. So you grieve that as well. And it's, for me, it was moving through it so that there was no resentment. Because if I resent something, someone, somewhere, then that's really, it can be difficult to move from, snakes and ladders, right? Next move, I get to dress it and do.
yeah.
I'm the talker when it comes to stuff like that, though. I want to address things.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. I think the point that you brought out, like that reflection of when you went back to your old life, then you noticed how you were different and what that was like. I think that happens too when we go through something major in grief. Like you guys had left everything and gone off and grown and grown. And when we go through grief, because I'm going to bring it back there, is that when we because it changes us, especially if we lose a spouse or a child, like when we have a really deep grief, even if we lose a job, whether by choice or because we were downsized or fired, and we go back into that relationship, we are changed fundamentally at the cellular level. We have changed. And so we're still us, but we are a different mosaic of us, right? We've shattered, we've broken, we've moved through those emotions, and then we've put ourselves back together, and we don't always come back the same. And those life lessons, those experiences shape who we are and who we're becoming. And so when you walk into a room, like especially if, say you've lost someone, you've lost a spouse, and then you're off for a few weeks and you come back to work, everything looks different. Everything feels different because you're different. When you go back into a familiar space, like you were saying, people were trying to interact with you like you were 2023 Steph instead of 2025 Steph. Well, that's what happens when you come back after grief, right? People are expecting you to be the pre-grief person. When you come back, you are the post-grief person, and you're the same but different. There's always that fundamental shift that happens, and I don't think we're ever really prepared for it. Because like you were saying, those shifts happen slowly over time for you. And then like over 6 months, you can be a completely different person. Well, even over 2 weeks after a severe loss, you can be a different you're a different person in the moment. And then it's assimilating that and integrating that and figuring out who that is. What I love that you said is you were like, I like who I've become. I like this version of me better. And I think for a lot of people, they see grief as something that's going to break them and make them not whole and be the way they define themselves forever. But you guys went through your own version of grief when you broke away from the traditional way of doing things and are living your life the way you want. It's almost like giving yourself permission to take off that armor and that shell. And like a lobster, right? Like when a lobster grows, its shell has to break off and it grows a new one. And then as it gets bigger, it breaks off and it gets a new one. It's almost like as we go through these experiences, good experiences and challenging experiences, we're growing. We may not always like the fact that we're being pushed to grow, but we do grow, right? And we internalize, and then we break off that shell of who we used to be so we can be the next bigger version of ourselves. And so I like to think that grief can also be an opportunity, because as you said, like to go back to the way you guys are doing the natural living, you wanted to strip it down to the simplest things. And when we're going through grief, that's what we do almost automatically. It's like, what is that one decision I need to make today? What is that one thing that has to be checked off my list? I can't worry about all this other stuff. I'm going to simplify. And when you move through that, that's a really good time to also figure out what's important, right? What Becky down the street thinks about your flower bed doesn't really matter anymore, right? Screw Becky. She can go have her own ideas. But then we start looking at what is really, really important to us. When I strip away everything and I am left sobbing on the floor because I've lost the love of my life or whatever's happened, when you strip away everything, it really has you face what's the most important to you, right? And so you guys have gone through your own metamorphosis and your own growth and losing that shell through going and stepping into that new way of living together. And the natural lifestyle, the nomadic lifestyle, the doing the things in your careers and becoming those leaders in those areas that just light you up. Because I know whenever we talk, you just love what you're doing. And it's so beautiful, but doesn't mean it came easily. Doesn't mean it came like, oh, here we go, we're going to do this, and rainbows and fireworks all the time. No, there's a lot of ups and downs and challenges, emotional and just logistically, that you have to overcome. And I think that's true for all experiences, grief included, is that there are these mountains you have to climb and these valleys you're going to go in. But it's that showing up, making that choice every day. And as Shell said, moving that one little piece of the boulder across, one thing at a time, taking action. And they say confidence comes through action. Well, maybe your action is today I'm going to get up and actually put on a fresh pair of pajamas. Maybe it's today I'm actually going to have a shower. And when you're in the depths of grief, it could be those little tiny decisions. And then it could grow to, you know what? I hate my job and I'm going to leave it. Or I've always wanted to travel the world. I'm going to go. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that grief catalyst, but grief does strip us right down.
Yeah.
And really has us focus on what's most important.
Yeah.
100% agree. And that's something that you've definitely supported us with, of trusting the process and coming from your sage powers, your 5 sage powers, of believing and knowing, and I mean really trusting that everything happens for a reason, no matter what. And that is the hardest to believe and get your head around in the grief aspect. And there's always a lesson, a learning, an opportunity if you're willing to look. And we've really taken that on board.
Yeah, I've always that's my go-to, and I don't know if that's my little armor or my little baby shield, that I say everything happens for a reason, because it just supports me to know that somehow, somewhere, excuse me, that there's a bigger plan.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I never like I think when we go through the big grief, you're right. We have a hard time seeing that this is happening for me, not to me. Today is actually the anniversary of my son's death. And that was 17 years ago. Well, in that moment, it's really hard to tell a grieving mom that her child died for a reason, right?
Yeah.
17 years later, I see what that triggered in me to bring me to where I am today. Had I not lost him, I wouldn't be sitting here today as a grief coach. I wouldn't be sharing my story from stages. I wouldn't be inspiring women to heal. I wouldn't be doing the healing work that I do. And I couldn't have seen that it took me a long time to really understand why it happened for me. And I think everything happens for us to guide us in the path that we're supposed to be on. And really, not necessarily, I think it's really hard to say, well, what's the lesson in it? Because sometimes there isn't a lesson. Sometimes it just is. But it's what you choose to take as your next step after things happen. And sometimes you have to wallow for a while. Sometimes you have to sit in the crap and the horrible feelings and the mess before you can pick yourself up. And then you can start going, okay, now I want to heal. Now I want to make those tiny, tiny, tiny little choices every day. Now I want to work on focusing, where's my gratitude for today? Even if it's just today, the sun's shining, I'm really grateful for that. And there's some days that was all I could be grateful for. Right. And every day I was grateful that his twin sister was still alive and still thriving. And even to this day, right, we just celebrated her birthday on Saturday because she turned 17 on Saturday, and then he had passed 3 days after they were born. So it's a combination of celebrating life and honoring and remembering. And so but things do happen in our lifetime that shape who we become. I think so often people let life shape them. They don't take an active role in deciding what they want their life to look like, because they get caught up in the judgment and the guilt and the shame and the resentment and, life is happening to me and I'm, and then they make it about, I'm a bad person. I don't deserve happiness. I must not be worthy enough of a good lifestyle. And then shifting that takes time and practice and support from people like yourself, people like me, who can get in there and help people support and see the blind spots, work through the emotions, find that next step, connect to their vision, dream again. And it is a journey. It really is a journey. Yeah.
Well, I think I can speak for both of us to say that we're super grateful that you are where you are.
Thank you very much. I'm super grateful that you guys are where you are, and I'm very grateful that we met.
When I was listening to them, Margaret, all I could think was, you get to feel to heal.
Yeah,
that's for sure. You have to feel to heal, and it doesn't matter. Like they say, time heals all wounds. I always love to put a caveat on that. Yes, time makes it so it's not as intensive, but it doesn't heal it unless you choose to feel it. You have to move through your pain, through the fire, through your grief. And over time, that will help, but you
Yeah.
still have to feel it. You can go through time for the rest of your life and just keep pushing it down and ignoring it, and you are not healing. You're just putting in time. But being
Yeah.
able to allow those emotions to be released, like you said, when they come up, they're here to be released. Allow that. And that can be scary. So if you're listening, reach out for help. If you're feeling that you want support in moving through those emotions, because they can be really scary. You may feel that you're going to get lost in them. That's when you want to reach out to a coach or a therapist or somebody that you trust that can help guide you through that. So oh my goodness. Okay. We could have talked forever. I know I missed like half the questions I was going to ask you, but I think this conversation was just so helpful, and it shows I love showcasing what you guys do and how you can be out in the world helping everyone, and how you've managed to navigate all the highs and the lows and the challenges and the excitement and the gratitude. And so thank you very much for being on here today. I understand that you have something that you wanted to offer for free to the listeners. Do you want to share what that is?
Yeah, we've got a couple of freebies, one from Rewire Coaching, so that's mindset and manifestation, and then one from Blends and Beyond, which is what's hiding in your home. So we've got 10 toxins that may be hiding, and an invitation there to our workshop, which is coming up soon. So you can dive in deeper, and then the release to rise. So just like what we're speaking here, of releasing to be that woman, to be that person that's your best version.
Excellent. Well, I will make sure that I put links to all of that in the show notes. So if you're looking for it, I will also include their Shell and Steph's contact information so you can reach out to them. Please do. They are amazing. And I want to just thank you both again so much for joining me today. And for anyone who's listening, if you feel that someone else would benefit from hearing today's podcast, please share it. And thank you so much for joining us and being part of the podcast. And we will look forward to seeing you on the next episode.